Oh boy, I think Charlie Cox is going to catch a bit of flack for this comment, but I think it's pretty important to talk about it, seeing as shows like Moon Knight is going to be coming to Disney Plus, and we already know that the Moon Knight character has a lot of history with a lot of over-the-top violence in his comics. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to News to the Science, where we discuss comics, movies, games, and more. We're here to talk to you about Charlie Cox's thoughts about having a lighter Daredevil series possibly working on Disney Plus. We're going to get into all those details in just a moment, but before we get started, I want you guys to go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and click on the bell notification so y'all don't miss anything. I post videos on a daily and I live stream at least once a week, starting tomorrow for the very first time in quite a few weeks now. We're going to be live streaming once again at 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time. So once again, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time. Mark your calendars, set an alarm so you don't miss the live stream. It's going to be fun. I'm going to be playing some more Spider-Man. So Charlie Cox thinks that a lighter Daredevil series could possibly work on Disney Plus. And now that all the Marvel Netflix shows are moving to Disney Plus later this month, fans have been wondering if the studio plans to revive this series at any point in the future. And if they do, they will feature the same gritty violence as before. It's too soon to tell right now, but even if Marvel does take these characters in a tamer direction, Daredevil star Charlie Cox sounds willing to play along. And this is from an article from Jake Abadi on Superhero Hype. And I'm not sure if I was saying his name right, so I do apologize if I mispronounced it. So Cox shared his reaction to the Disney Plus news during a recent interview with comicbook.com. After the streaming service made its announcement, he texted Born Again to several co-stars and crew members, obviously referencing one of the Marvel's darker Daredevil storylines, some elements of which made their way into Daredevil Season 3. However, when it comes to Matt Murdock's future in the MCU, Cox thinks that a lighter tone could work for the blind superhero, and that's lighter in quotations. I wouldn't put it past the folks at Marvel to be able to accomplish that, said Cox. I'm such a fan of everything they've done so far. I wouldn't underestimate them at all. So if they wanted to make a more PG version of Daredevil, I backed them to find a way to do where it feels totally in keeping with everything we've done. And maybe there's a little less blood, maybe there's a little whatever, but I backed them to do it anyways. Regardless, Cox acknowledged that some of Daredevil's themes don't exactly lend themselves to a family-friendly audience. My feeling is that the comics work best at it, Cox. The Daredevil comics, for me, are more exciting, readable, relatable when they live in a darker space. Having it said like that, and obviously I'm thinking the Bendis Malley run is possibly the best example of that. It absolutely can work, but I guess what you can't deny is Daredevil is never going to work as well in a PG world as Spider-Man does. Do you know what I mean? That's the point. I think the age of the character, the Christian guilt, his history with women and stuff, it's like a little bit mature, and it has to be. And the rest of the Marvel Netflix series will be available to stream on Disney Plus in the US starting March 16th. I'm really excited for that. I'm so glad all of the Marvel content will be finally home with the rest of the MCU stuff. So do you agree with Cox's remarks about how Marvel should handle this character? You let me know down in the comment section below. And talking about the Bendis Malley run, he's of course talking about this run. I'm only going to show you a couple of images, a few comic book panels and comic covers. Those runs were actually targeting the teenage demographic, the much more mature teenagers. I'm talking about maybe 16 plus. And something like that could easily work on TV. So if you look at Moon Knight, for example, and I think when Kevin Feige spoke about Moon Knight and the violent history of that character and how they're going to be tackling that for the very first time in the MCU in Disney Plus, he brought up a few points. Moon Knight is actually not going to be pulling back. Kevin Feige says that Moon Knight is going to be more violent than past Marvel shows. So the tonal shift, there is a tonal shift, and the Marvel president said of the Disney Plus series, this is a different thing. This is Moon Knight. If you take that into account, imagine how Daredevil is going to be. I'm thinking that there isn't going to be much of a difference, since we already know that Vincent D'Onofrio, who came back and reprised his role as Kingpin, he's pretty much playing this very same version from the original Daredevil series, and so is Charlie Cox playing the very same version of the original Daredevil series as well. So I think not much is really going to change going forward when we see Daredevil appear in shows like She-Hulk, which is rumored for him to appear in episodes 8 and 9. And of course, he's going to be appearing in Echoes as well. Daredevil is going to be very important in that series. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to be heading in a pretty violent direction with a lot of its characters, more of the darker characters like Moon Knight, of course, Daredevil, the Punisher, even Ghost Rider. So again, it's possible to have this, and since Disney is going to be implementing a mature section for its mature audience, like 18 and over, it's gonna start implementing those parental restrictions features in that streaming service. So that gives the room, the leeway for Marvel Studios to develop mature content. And whereas if it was a movie, it would have more restrictions, since anybody in the entire public can go to a movie theater and watch whatever they feel like it, even if they can sneak in and they can see whatever they like. But with the streaming service, there's a lot more flexibility for such mature content, which is why I think Charlie Cox does feel comfortable talking about a lighter Daredevil series could possibly work. Of course, he's going to say something like that. I mean, the guy is getting the Marvel Studios paycheck, but I'm sure he also loves playing the character as well. There's a lot of room, a lot of flexibility for mature content on Disney Plus, and we already have proof as it is right here with the clips that I actually have uploaded in this video, showcasing the return of the Marvel Netflix series coming to Disney Plus altogether. So you guys let me know your thoughts. Do you think a lighter toned down version of the Daredevil series could work? I mean, it's already been proven from a lot of the Michael Bendis runs. Those comics did appeal to the teenager audience, and I think it could possibly work. I'm not sure a lot of people would agree with that, but there's a possibility, and I think there's a lot more room to explore a lot of mature content on Disney Plus. So you comment down below with your thoughts. Comment down with your thoughts about a lighter version of the Daredevil series, if you want to see it, or should they continue with a season 4 or reboot. You let me know what are your theories and thoughts about that. And as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click on the bell notification so you all don't miss anything. And as always, I will see you all in the next comic panel.